welcome our blood viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we bring to you the major and top highlights of tonight. Djibouti hosts the 16th retreat of the Peace and Security Council. And on the international scene in Gaza, schools destroyed and humanitarian aid trends. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, left the country on Tuesday for France, where he will make a private visit lasting several days. This trip to France is part of a personal visit that the head of state rarely grants himself abroad. Today, the Prime Minister and acting head of government, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, welcomed a Somali delegation to Mohammed Noor and the Chief of Staff and the Somali Armed Forces, led by the Djibouti Defense Minister, Mr. Hassan Umar. The aim of the meeting is to consolidate bilateral defense relations and ensure lasting security in the region. The aim is to examine ways of deepening collaboration and sharing expertise, particularly in the fight against terrorism, by discussing common strategies for combating terrorist groups, in particular Al-Shabaab, which threaten regional stability. Border security was addressed and through issues linked to securing common borders in order to prevent infiltration and illegal activities. The meeting also discussed setting up effective mechanisms for the exchange of sensitive information on security threats, collaboration on regional and international missions to maintain peace and security, and strengthening coordination with regional organizations such as the Intergovernmental Authority on Development (IGAD) to promote stability in the Horn of Africa. The audience was also attended by Colonel Mohammed Jama, Commander of the Republican Guard, and Mr. Nagib Abdullah Kamil, General Secretary of the Office of the Prime Minister. In a related context, the Prime Minister, acting head of government, has elevated his General Secretary, Mr. Nagib Abdullah Muhammad Kamil, to the rank of Commander of the National Order of 27th June for his outstanding services to the state. This distinction recognizes his commitment, the dedication and significant contributions to the civil service and administration. The ceremony highlighted the importance of the values of services and excellence in public services. The Prime Minister, acting head of government, underlined the career of Mr. Nagib Abdullah Muhammad Kamil, highlighting his civic and citizenship values. As a great clerk of the state, the decoration was awarded to him in recognition of service rendered, hard work, accomplished dedication, and personal commitment in the service of general interest. Surrounded by close friends, this significant moment was celebrated in a festive atmosphere. The Prime Minister's office expresses its gratitude to the dedicated work and extends its warmest congratulations and well-deserved recognition. Under the high patronage of the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, the People's Palace yesterday hosted the celebration of National African Youth Day under the aspiring theme of entrepreneurship and innovation in the purple economy. This day, initiated in 2014 at the initiative of the President of the Republic, is now an annual event. It is intended to be a moment of celebration and symbolism, highlighting strong themes that respond to the aspirations and challenges of Djibouti's youth. The ceremony was attended by many dignitaries, including members of the government, members of parliament, representatives of the diplomatic corps based here in Djibouti, as well as international delegations who had come to show their solidarity. This included a delegation from Somalia, the Afar region of Ethiopia, and a delegation of young people from Sudan. Together, they expressed their support and their desire to build a united and dynamic African youth. As every year, the day's celebration concluded with an award ceremony honoring Djibouti's leading figures who have invested their passion and dedication in the development of young people. This high-level distinction rewards associations and individuals whose innovative contributions stimulate the development of the purple economy, a sector of the future promoting bold ideas and sustainable solutions for the benefit of younger generations. The Republic of Djibouti graciously hosted the 16th retreat of the African Union Peace and Security Council on the review of its working methods at Ayla Grand Hotel under the high patronage of the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, and the chairperson of the PSC this month of November 2024. The 16th retreat of the PSC coincides with the 20th anniversary of the African Union Peace and Security Council celebrated last March in Addis Ababa. It will be recalled that the Republic of Djibouti has just completed with great honor its three consecutive terms as chair of the African Union Peace and Security Council. The 16th retreat of the African Union Peace and Security Council will focus on continental perspectives on early warning and security. During the inaugural ceremony, a number of speeches were made, including one by the chairman of the African Union Peace and Security Council for this month of November. The Congolese diplomat paid a warm tribute to the Republic of Djibouti, its government, and its president, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle, for their contribution to peace and security in the region and on the continent as a whole. Yesterday, the 4th of Monday, the General Director of the National Agency for People with Disabilities, Mr. Duali Said Mahmoud, handed over a large donation of typewriters and school kits to the Center for Children with Special Needs in the presence of Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, Minister of National Education and Vocational Training. This generous gesture is part of MPH commitment to supporting the education of children with disabilities and will meet the specific educational needs to the pupils, enabling them to learn under optimum conditions. With disabilities in education. The joint initiative by the MPH and the Ministry of Education illustrates a strong commitment to supporting their children, and therefore, in his reaction in speech, Mr. Duali Said Mahmoud underlined the importance of this donation. The donation is proof of our commitment to inclusive education. At the invitation of the Indian government and the General Director of the International Solar Alliance, the Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi, participated in the 7th session of the ISA Assembly, which opened on Monday in New Delhi, the capital of India. The Minister is representing our country in this important event at the head of a delegation comprising of our Ambassador to India, Mr. Isa Abdullah Asowe, his technical advisor, Mr. Ahmed Wabri Hassan, and the Director of Energy, Mr. Gulaid Muhammad Jama. This high-level meeting, a must-of for key players and decision-makers in the global solar sector, brought together hundreds of participants from all over the world, including energy ministers, heads of international institutions, pioneers in the global energy industry, experts, investors, and business leaders. Djibouti's premier hotel hosted a national workshop to validate the draft plant protection law, a crucial initiative for the country's petro-sanitary security and sustainable development. Organized under the aegis of Mr. Muhammad Ahmad Awali, Minister of Agriculture, the event brought together representatives from various ministers as well as national and international experts specializing in agricultural and plant health issues. The workshop is part of the project funded by the European Union to support the updating of food and plant health control systems in Eastern and Southern Africa. Djibouti, selected for this initiative, aims to strengthen government's control by adapting its regulations to international standards. The main objective of this workshop is to validate the preliminary draft law and its priority application text, the fruit of in-depth consultations with stakeholders. The active participation of experts and representatives from the agricultural, economic, and environmental sectors is considered essential to ensure that the legislation meets Djibouti's specific needs. This validation process marks, once incorporated, it will strengthen the means of combating harmful organisms. The National Union of Djiboutian Women today organized a training session for women and mother advisors on nutrition and facilitation techniques in collaboration with the World Food Program. This event was attended by the General Secretary of the UNFD and the WFP representative. The participants attended practical and theoretical sessions on the basics of nutrition and facilitation techniques, enabling them to become the bearers of essential messages in their communities. Thanks to this training, the women are acquiring skills that will help them raise awareness among families and encourage healthy eating habits in the home. In her speech, the General Secretary of the UNFD stressed the importance of this initiative, which is part of a wider effort to promote the health and well-being of Djiboutian families. She emphasized the UNFD's commitment to supporting women and their role as pillars of society, particularly in the areas of family nutrition. 1st of November 2024, Diwali, the Indian New Year, was celebrated in style at the Isla Grand Hotel on Friday. The ceremony brought together a number of leading figures from the Indian community as well as the ambassador who shared a convivial and festival moment based on the traditions and values of emblematic festival. Diwali, also known as the Festival of Light, symbolizes the victory of light over darkness and good over evil. Participants enjoyed cultural performances, traditional dances, and delicious Indian cuisine, creating a warm and festive atmosphere. The celebration helped to strengthen ties within the Indian community while promising a great intellectual understanding. Guests marveled at the numerous decorations that lit up Ayla Hotel. As part of the activities to celebrate National and African Youth Week, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, in partnership with the National Agency for Persons with Disabilities, organized an exceptional cinema screening dedicated to young people with special needs. The event was held on 2nd of November at the Star Cinema in Body Mall and was well attended, creating a festive and inclusive atmosphere. This initiative aims to offer young people with disabilities an enriching and accessible culture experience. The session was also an opportunity to raise public awareness of the importance of including people with disabilities in society. Speakers from the Ministry of Youth and Culture took the floor to highlight an ongoing efforts to improve access to culture for all. The event is part of a series of activities planned to celebrate youth, highlighting the creativity, diversity, and commitment of young people. The Ministry and the National Agency for Disabled People are planning other similar events to continue promoting inclusion and access to culture for all. The Djibouti Office for the Development of Geothermal Energy welcomed today the U.S. aid representative of Djibouti, Mrs. Nancy. The meeting was an opportunity to make a plea with a view to broadening their areas of partnership, particularly in the field of geothermal development program, challenges and prospects. Among other things, Djibouti's geothermal potential was highlighted, which would enable the country to gain greater energy independence, and the convincing results obtained following research carried out in the field of geothermal energy in Djibouti. During the roundtable, discussions also focused on ways of bringing together public and private companies operating in the energy sector in general and in the geothermal sector in particular in the two countries. Finally, it should be noted that this meeting gave the U.S. aid representative in Djibouti, Mrs. Nancy, the opportunity to take a guided tour of ODEX laboratories. Part of its commitment to risk and disaster management, the Djibouti Red Crescent has organized a technical workshop aimed at training preparedness and response capacities. The event, held under the patronage of the Executive Secretary for Risk and Disaster Management, is part of a Warning for All initiative. The workshop brought together key players in risk management, including firefighters, the police, and coast guards, as well as representatives of government institutions and civil society. The main aim was to share knowledge, exchange best practices, and develop effective strategies for participating and responding to natural disasters and crises. Preparedness is essential to minimize the impact of disasters on our communities. The workshop is a crucial step towards strengthening our collective resilience and guaranteeing the safety of our populations, said Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Madar, Executive Secretary for Risk and Disaster Management. On Wednesday, 30th October 2024, the Sheikh Musa Training Center, the National Gendarmerie's crucial training sector, hosted the closing ceremony of a training course dedicated exclusively to the National Gendarmerie's Front Police Unit Number 3. The ceremony, chaired by the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, was attended by Colonel Raphael Garou, Internal Security Attaché at the French Embassy in Djibouti, Lieutenant Colonel Thierry Demerval, and Technical Advisor of the Chief of the Staff, and senior officers from the Djiboutian Gendarmerie. The ceremony began with demonstrations of the skills and know-how acquired, performed with brio and professionalism by personnel of the FPU-3, who are preparing to be deployed on a peacekeeping mission in the Central African Republic. Conducted since 3rd of October by two French experts on a consultancy mission in Djibouti, the training focused mainly on democratic crowd management and the various operational techniques used in sometimes disregarded contexts across the entire mission spectrum of a unit deployed on a peacekeeping operation. The training enabled UPF-3 personnel to acquire the basic skills and knowledge inherent in the missions they will be assigned on a daily basis, for which fall within their spectrum of intervention. The ceremony ended, of course, with a traditional group photo. The participants were each presented with certificates of participation by the officials present in recognition of their effort and seriousness they had shown throughout their course. The certificate symbols of their commitment were presented by the Chief of the Staff of the National Gendarmerie, Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, in the presence of Colonel Raphael Gariou, Internal Security Attaché to the French Embassy, and Lieutenant Colonel Thierry Damerval, Technical Advisor. Symbolic gifts were also presented to the French instructors and trainers in recognition of the quality of the training provided. These gifts show the National Gendarmerie's gratitude for the support and expertise given by the trainees, who have made a significant contribution in improving the operational skills of the constituted police unit. We shift our focus now towards Palestine, more specifically in Gaza, where the war continues to weigh heavily on the civilian population, worsening day by day an unprecedented humanitarian and educational crisis. More than a year since the start of the hostilities, the situation for children and students is actually alarming. Almost 90,000 students and 600,000 children were being deprived of their lessons, as the educational infrastructure has been massively destroyed by the incessant bombing of the Israeli army. Well, by this, our blood viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more as usual. And of course, we wish you a wonderful evening. Take care.